इतना ये लॉजिक समझ में आया? So ultimately, let us say that now when we study philosophers, scholars who have tried to explore this good, you understand? Now they have somewhere equated this good, right, in a particular way. That good is not just about comfort, good is not just about achievement, good is not about success, good is not about some material, but good also constitutes the way it has been acquired. Understanding? So good एक एस्पेक्ट क्या हो गया, जो एंड है, जो पर्पस है, मटीरियल, इमटीरियल, नॉन मटीरियल, व्हाटएवर, राइट, टेंजिबल, इंटेंजिबल. और एक गुड क्या हो गया, जो प्रोसेस है. You can say end, yes, what, and one is how. Means and end. Now this is the next level of analysis. So scholars, most of these scholars, most of the people who studied, right, when you think of, let's say, let's take very interesting comparison, right, एक example उससे समझते हैं. Let's say we have Karl Marx, right, and we have Gandhi. Which of these is a bigger revolutionary? Who talks more about the human aspect? Who talks more about the human benefit? But see, you have Gandhi as the father of nation. Gandhi talks about democracy more or less. नहीं. अब गांधी, see, both somewhere. How Gandhi is not socialistic? He is. पबैट के लेक्चर वापस जाके पढ़ो थोड़े बहुत. Gandhian socialism, Mahatma Gandhi. We are talking. Gandhian socialism, Gandhian philosophy, right? Public interest we have studied. See? Gandhi socialism है भाई. कैसे? Power to the grassroots, community ownership. क्या है community ownership? Trusteeship, cooperative society, cottage industry, no industrialization. क्या है ये? That is called Gandhian socialism. कैसे? किसने पढ़ाया ये? गांधी ने कभी कैपिटलिज्म को डिस्कार्ड नहीं किया. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. But Gandhi never preferred capitalism as a mode of economic production. Never. If he supported Ahmedabad mill strike, so he supported the mill strike, or he eliminated the conflict that was happening because of the strike. Indigo planters, he removed the conflict. That's a conflict here. He was always pro workers, not pro mill owners. Gandhi तो universally famous है. Gandhi socialism के. Whatever the aspects of Gandhi is there, right? They all reflect his orientation towards socialism. In fact, your DPSP, अब उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से बड़ा प्रूफ क्या है भाई? जीएस वाल पढ़ा है जीएस वाल ने कुछ अभी? क्यों नहीं पढ़ाया उसने? So अब नोएडा में ही पढ़ाएंगे कि यहीं पढ़ाएंगे? You are studying with दृष्टि, no? अच्छा, not with दृष्टि. Let us say, so socialism, DPSP जो है, primarily talks about socialism. See, Gandhian philosophy dominantly visible 43B पूजा, हाँ ठीक है. 39B C है, and 40 correct है. 43B भी ठीक है, right? फ्री जस्टिस फॉर द पुअर, वो भी मान सकते हो भाई, कहीं ना कहीं गांधीयन इन्फ्लुएंस. Which one? No, not 44. 40. Then Gandhi, but see, he was diversity. He accepted. He will not dilute the diversity. So let us say, if you see, right, Marx. Let's come back to ये हमारा focus नहीं है अभी. So socialism, अब Marx भी socialism बोलता है. अब Gandhian socialism comes from his very idea of transformation of society. ठीक है? कैसे? कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज बनाओ, ट्रस्टीशिप क्रिएट करो, राइट? कॉटेज इंडस्ट्रीज प्रमोट करो, विलेज लेवल इंडस्ट्रीज प्रमोट करो, विच आर नॉट ऑफ द बिगर मैग्नीट्यूड, राइट? इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन को हटाओ, डी इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन is the primary ambition of Gandhi, right? That is why Gandhian socialism did not dominate the Indian economic system. It was Nehruvian socialism, right? Nehru was the one who wanted a combination of capitalism and socialism, and Patel was the one who wanted capitalism. So let us say now they both have similar ambitions. इनके ends same हैं, right? But इनके means अलग अलग हैं. The means used by Gandhi. गांधी के means कैसे हैं? Pacifist हैं, नहीं? Pacifist means है, non-violent means है, right? Simpler means है. What you can say, ahimsa एक means है. Or to a large extent, you can say that more about what he's talking about is more humanly sensitive means to achieve certain things, right? So Gandhi somewhere believes कि भाई moral या ethical method क्या है achieve करने का is through non-violent, peaceful, more humanistic way of doing things, right? Ultimately, objective is same. See? So his concept of non-cooperation, civil disobedience, non-violence, ये सब क्या? They were based on the basic premise. See? Marx बोलता है, see, power flows from the barrel of the Marx says power flows from the barrel of the gun. Without violence, there cannot be revolution. And to a large extent, he is correct. Because this is what has happened historically. No established system can be overthrown without violence. क्यों नहीं आएगा? और ट्रांजिशनल आएगा. When you're looking for peace, does it come in your life ever? You tell me. You're looking for success, will it ever end? You're looking for peace, will it ever end? You're looking for comfort in life कि भगवान मुझे थोड़ा आराम मिल जाए. So don't confuse things. Abhi we are talking about, let's say, the basic intellectual premise. Intellectual academic premise क्या है? You are looking for peace. Will you find it? Why not? Because that is not your inherent nature. When people say meditate, that is to be worked against the human nature. इसीलिए वो एक्सरसाइज इतनी एफर्ट डिमांड करती है, क्योंकि वो अगेंस्ट ह्यूमन नेचर है. Human nature is flickering mind. That is what human nature is. Your body may not move, but your mind keeps moving. तो वो रेजिस्टेंस है टू द नेचुरल फ्लो ऑफ व्हाट यू आर. दैट इज व्हाई इट इज टफ. दैट इज व्हाई मेनी ऑफ द स्पिरिचुअल स्कॉलर्स हैव सेड कि देयर इज नो नीड. क्या एफर्ट क्यों डालना है मेडिटेशन के लिए? इट शुड बी सिंपल. फाइन. सो कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ जो कौन सा योगा है? Have you heard of the lazy yoga? You've not heard of that. Not just shavasana, right? Yogas which people are generally doing lying on the bed. Sleepy yoga, lazy yoga, whatever you say. See? The ultimate purpose is obviously somewhere to acquire that state of mind. So meditation does not require a physical exploitation of the body. It's not necessary. राइट वो एक स्टेट है जिसको आप अचीव करते हो लेकिन वो क्या फिनेंस से एक्सप्लॉयटेशन से फिजिकल एफर्ट से फिजिकल एक्सप्लॉयटेशन ऑफ द बॉडी क्या उससे अचीव होगा नहीं हो सकता राइट बट जैनिज्म इसमें बिलीव नहीं करता जैनिज्म बिलीव्स इन अल्टीमेट राइट फिजिकल एफर्ट now see they have different idea Hinduism a different idea Buddhism talks about middle path. So see, religious context may differ, right? But let's say this is a kind of political system which is desired by both, a social system desired by both. Here, the means is violence. Here, the means is blood. Here, the means is not. Now, which of these means? Because ultimately, the end is correct. End is more or less simpler. And let us assume both of them wanted the participation of the people or community as the main power center. So in the society, right, both of them somewhere would be searching for, is it or not? Can we say Gandhi was also looking for classless? Yes. Right? Bureaucracy-less? Yes. He's talking about village republic. Classless, bureaucracy-less, non-elitist. Ultimately, people-centered. Power inversion. दोनों का purpose था power inversion. Not just decentralization. We say power inversion. So ultimately, which of this is good now? Now the ends are good. But what about the means? Good hai? Nahi hai. See? Whom do you prefer? Many would prefer Marx, not Gandhi, right? But then it is a dilemma of choice. If I can achieve these ends with peaceful means, I may prefer that. If I have to achieve the same end with non-peaceful means, I may not choose that, right? But then there would be a relative evaluation. Will non-violence lead to faster achievement of end? Right? Or will violence lead to faster achievement of end? You understand? Now see, this always creates a dilemma. Why? Because human actions, human life is not that rational. That there will be one means to one end. There will be multiple means to one end. And these means, right, to a large extent depends upon our context. To a large extent depends upon our assumptions, our world view. So you want to fulfill your hunger, your means is vegetarian food. One wants to fulfill his hunger, his meal is non-vegetarian food. See, now for him, the evaluation of the means is not at all important. For two hungry people, the evaluation of means may not be important. They might tend to fulfill their hunger, right? But when these people are not hungry as such, they may evaluate the means which they are using. You understand? So, what is the ultimate purpose of now ethical study? Is to find out the best relationship of means with the ends. As simple as that. That is what ethics is about. When you say desirable, undesirable, that's a different aspect, no doubt. That parameters have been set, right? But ultimately, what do you want? Now, see, come to this idea. So, good may involve two important questions, right? Means or choice of the means to achieve the end that has been decided. Are you able to understand this part? Now let's come to this example. Keep in mind this very important example. Come to the next level now. See, so ultimately now the choice is between the means and you have the end, right? Or it may be the means one, means two, means 3. And likewise, see, so if people want to achieve the ends which have been defined as something good, desirable, then they can do so through various means. You understand? This choice of means now, let's come to this idea. How do we make the choice of means? How do we make the choice of means? Okay, that is one criteria. That is more economic criteria. Any other criteria? Convenience, correct? Comfort. अब let's say मैं बोलता हूँ कि see the choice of means. Let's say this takes x time. This takes x plus x 2x time. This takes 2x plus x 3x times. What will be your choice? Less time. ठीक है? But this takes compromise. This doesn't take compromise. This takes minimum compromise. This takes no compromise. Fast, sell your soul. Right? Sell your respect. Right? Be what you are. What is the choice now? Let's keep all this in mind. Don't jump to conclusion, right? This paper requires a very common sense, in-depth understanding of things, right? So when you write your answers, your words will be reflected in the, or your answer will be enhanced by the choice of the words you make. That will make a big difference in your part A, that is theoretical. Once you are conceptually understanding things, part B automatically can be done more easily. क्योंकि पार्ट बी में कोई टेक्निकल नॉलेज नहीं चाहिए. Whatever knowledge is here has to be applied. So part B, that is case study, is more about formatting of this knowledge. You understand? यही इसका एप्लीकेशन है बस वहां पे. तो तुम पब्लिक सर्वेंट हो, इंजीनियर हो, ह्यूमन बीइंग हो, पर्सन हो, क्या, it doesn't matter, right? This all exactly is applicable there. Let us say, so now what will be your choice? So let's say means 1, soul चला गया. Means 2, respect चला गया. Right? Means 3, chalo, as is. But see, this is 3 times faster. Right? Now see, if you want to be successful in a very short span of time, you have to sacrifice. Are you willing to use the means, fine, which may involve certain types of bargain? Are you understanding this idea? You will achieve the end, no doubt. Right? Are you willing to bargain for it? अब ये जो bargain का choice है कि whether I will bargain or not, whether I will accept or not, whether I'll go for this means or not, ये कहाँ से emerge होता है? See? Now for this we use, what do we use? Just know what we talked about. इसके लिए हम क्या use करते हैं? जो parameters हैं, universal and contextual. Understanding? When we say there are universal parameters, तो हम ethics को refer कर रहे हैं. जब हम बोलते हैं हमारे contextual parameters हैं, तो हम morality को refer कर रहे हैं. मेरा धर्म, my religion doesn't allow me to do this. Contextual, right? My or personal ethics, local ethics, जो भी आप उसको नाम दे दो. But the humanity does not allow me to do this, right? That is universal criteria. So choice of means, or the conflict between the choice of means, what is it called? This is called the ethical dilemma. That's a dilemma. We can give it lot of names. Conflict of interest, this, whatever. Fine. choice between good and very good, choice between bad and very bad. Right? Now that's very logical. So we have to choose these means, and these means that leads us to an end that we want, an end that is desirable, right? This somewhere is explored by what? The study of ethics. So actual study of ethics is about what? It is about understanding, exploring that what actions people take to achieve the goals they want. What means they choose to achieve the goals they want. But why one prefers one means and why other prefers another means. And can we develop a universal criteria, a better understanding of means to end? Yeah, ethics. That is what ethics is about. Good, bad, desirable, that are all the categories we have developed. Right? Money is an end, or money may be a means. Depending upon how money is acquired, because ultimately money is being used for comfort, for good life. See, you can acquire money by bad means and still you can spend that on philanthropy and it's good. You may acquire money by good means and still end up in spending that money on your comfort and luxury. See, there are a lot of debates around this. No, see, a lot of societies are there, a lot of countries, developed countries in the world, they seek servants and slaves from the third world countries, even today. A lot of countries in Middle East, Europe, right? They have concept of sex slaves. They are all rich people, elite people, educated people. Is it justified? India may be hai, if you don't know. The women, children, teenagers from the disaster-prone areas, disaster-affected areas, right? From the poorest areas of this country, they are distributed across the country in the form of servants, house help, maids, whatever. And they are used for multiple purposes. If you don't know about your country, you should know about it. If you think your society is very high level of moral society, that's not true. You apply morality selectively. Right? Morality selectively, na? जहां पे आपकी मोरालिटी आपको जस्टिफाई करती है आप अप्लाई कर देते हो, जहां नहीं करती है डोंट अप्लाई. You want all ethical people to be ethical. You don't want unethical people to be ethical. Politicians corrupt है, right? मेरी life. इसे डॉक्टर गलत है, टीचर गलत था, राइट? पेरेंट्स गलत है. उनका आपकी लाइफ में बहुत बड़ा इन्फ्लुएंस है, नो डाउट, बट जो परमानेंट इन्फ्लुएंस है वो किसका है? पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम का है. You cannot think of your life without this political framework. Religion का है, right? Even if you want, you cannot save yourself from religion. Do you go and question the practices of the religion? You cannot do so. You will attract the wrath of the society. So, see, ultimately, people have multiple ways or multiple excuses to justify their actions. People have multiple means to achieve the same end. Comfort can be defined in multiple ways, right? Happiness can be defined in multiple ways. So people started understanding, scholars started bringing their perspective कि भाई good कैसे define होगा? Good is comfort, good is desirable, good is happiness, good is the end, good is the means. अब ये basic ideas थे कि भाई ये good है क्या? Let's try to define it. So if I want to achieve, right, or if we are doing or trying to achieve certain ends, we will always face the problem of choices we make. So we come to very basic idea that what are we evaluating? What are we studying? Human action. This human action, core of ethics, or the study of this subject. Human action. Human action is guided by human thought. This human action has lot of dilemma. This action translates into the consequence or the end. If you remember Simon क्या बोलता है? Bounded rationality. Can we ever be absolutely ethical? We cannot be, because we do not have the capability to be absolutely ethical. Right? Whatever choice we make, someone else will say this was a bad choice and there was a better choice than this. कोई ना कोई तो होगा. Unless we have veil of ignorance, right? Unbiased choice. So try to understand human thought. Can I use the word here? Right? Intellect. Two things I'm using, right? Intellect plus intention. This is a very important aspect. Intellect plus intention. Human action obviously is more about the consequence or the means, and consequence is the impact that you want to achieve. So from intention to action to consequence, if I have a knowledge, if I have a subject, if I have an academic understanding, how am I going to evaluate it? Can I have the ability to evaluate it? Do I need or do I have a knowledge which can evaluate it? Understanding? What is the evaluation for? Let's say I have a knowledge called study of ethics for evaluating it. What am I evaluating it for? अभी तो बोला भाई desirable or undesirable. Understanding? So what does ethics as an area of study do? It helps us understand this entire process and evaluates now what is good, bad, or desirable, undesirable. अब ethics कैसे करता है? So can I say that study of ethics, let's say, is it evaluative? Or it has evaluative nature? Yes. Why? Because it helps us understand. Is it descriptive? It describes what is happening, right? What it evaluates for, what it describes for, is to provide, help us understand what is good, what is bad. तो क्या ये prescriptive है? Correct. See? So what is ethics? It is evaluative in nature. What is ethics? It is descriptive in nature. What is ethics? It is prescriptive in nature. Is it trying to develop some universal framework which can help us understand human actions in general? अभी तो हमने बोला. Ethical universalism, ethical absolutism, ये क्या है? एक universal criteria. अच्छे बच्चे कौन होते हैं? जो पैदा नहीं होते. जो भी पैदा हो गए वो तो अच्छे होते नहीं हैं. Who can say कि मेरा बच्चा जो है बहुत अच्छा है या बच्चा बहुत अच्छा है? See, those who enter this world, they no more remain the pure soul, obviously. So that very moment, they have some aspect of being bad. It is obvious. A child, first thing, manipulates his or her mother for food. You heard of Oedipus complex? You know about it? सुना है? लॉ वाली पढ़ाई के तुमने सुना नहीं है सब? अपने कॉलेज में बुलाओ मुझे. लेक्चर के लिए. One of my students has called me in Patiala, National Hospital, Patiala. But he's PhD in law. See, I did not complete LLB also. So I told him मेरी qualification मत लिखना है, right? अब Oedipus complex क्या होता है? See, the daughter is attracted to father physically, and son is attracted to mother physically. क्योंकि ग्रीक में ये फिनोमेना इमर्ज हुआ. बहुत सारी सोसाइटीज में, सी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट, बहुत सारी सोसाइटीज में, बिकॉज दिस इज वेरी ट्रूथ. When, like you said, veil of ignorance, when I don't know ये मेरी मदर है, ये मेरा फादर है, ये मेरा सिस्टर है, ये मेरा फ्रेंड है, ये मेरा नेबर है, I don't know, for example. You imagine that state of understanding, that state of existence. You don't know who is who, right? You are governed by what? The natural laws, the biological laws, as simple as that. So there was an infamous personality in the history, right? Caligula Caesar. Have you heard his name? He used Caesar's name just to make him more popular, right? More worthy, but he was totally antithesis of that. So Caligula Caesar was infamous for incest, which in many societies was accepted as normal. Having physical relations with one's own blood, right? Immediate blood, which is a taboo in many societies. Not taboo, it is a sin. But in the same Hindu society, you go to southern part of this country, right? The Bhanjis can marry the mama. Yes. Here, the Bhanji cannot even touch the feet of the mama. So, she is supposed to be so respectable in that sense. Respect वहाँ भी है, यहाँ भी है, लेकिन क्यों? Customs. See? Right? So, does it create a universal human parameter कि नहीं, you cannot have incest? No. Many societies in the world, they prefer incest. They don't want, yes. They don't want outsiders to dilute their ethnicity. That's the idea. They restricted it, right? There are a lot of sociological studies in India. I'll tell you the exact names of those people who did, but not now. Sociological studies in India, which studied Western UPs and Haryana. And they found out that in these areas, right, there was a phase, 70s and 80s, where in these areas, a lot of young men were killed. They were murdered, right? Suicide, murders, what? Mysterious murders and deaths. So they were not able to understand why this is happening. A lot of young men. Now, when they did studies, they found that in 60% of these regions where it was happening, right, other factors were also there, but one of the major factor driving was the possession of land in the family. When the younger boys or the younger sons wanted to marry, right, they generally led to the distribution of property. So the family found a basic solution, that whenever the younger son wanted to marry, or whenever the younger son demanded for the distribution of property, right, they were killed. Or they were asked to marry their own bhabis, sister-in-laws. See, polyandry. Polyandrous societies are not polyandrous because they don't have morality, right? Because they chose a means to establish or control over the property. जब परिवार एक ही होगा वो तो प्रॉपर्टी क्यों डिवाइड होगी ये बताओ. फिर वो नेक्स्ट प्रोसेस में स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. क्यों डिवाइड होगी प्रॉपर्टी बताओ. बोथ आर कनेक्टेड टू द सेम फीमेल. जब मदर एक ही होगी बच्चों की तो वो प्रॉपर्टी तो इंटीग्रेटेड होगी ना. तुम बार एसोसिएशन का एग्जाम दो पहले, ठीक है. Chalo. So whenever, right, now you have a lot of such examples, right, where you can say कि in our society when we talk about universal moral parameter, right, there is no universal moral parameter. हर पॉकेट में मोरालिटी अलग अलग है, राइट, बट एथिक्स का पर्पस वो नहीं है. एथिक्स का पर्पस क्या है? दैट वी हैव टू फाइंड सम यूनिवर्सल एस्पेक्ट. यू अंडरस्टैंड? वी हैव टू फाइंड सम कॉमन एस्पेक्ट्स, स्टैंडर्ड बेंचमार्क, राइट. तो ये स्टैंडर्ड बेंचमार्क कैसे बनेगा? सी, इज एथिक्स फोकसिंग ऑन यूनिवर्सल? यस. हाउ आर वी अराइविंग और गोइंग टू अराइव एट दिस यूनिवर्सल? थ्रू एम्पिरिकल और साइंटिफिक. तो क्या एथिक्स एम्पिरिकल है? यस. रैशनल है? यस. इट वांट्स टू रैशनलाइज थिंग्स. इट वांट्स टू डेवलप यूनिवर्सल बेंचमार्क. इट वांट्स टू डिफाइन थिंग्स इन अ established framework. How does ethics do it? How does this area of study emerge? Right? Is it systematic? Yes. Is it scientific? Yes. Empirical likha hi humne. Now see, all these things are good things about ethics. But will or does the study of ethics also constitutes things which are not this? Yes, it does. That means, apart from whatever we have talked about the nature of the study of ethics, there are certain aspects which the ethics or the area of ethics cannot study in a scientific manner. It cannot study in a rational manner. It cannot study through empirical analysis. What are these aspects? These are, you know, all this, these are normative aspects. Correct. Normative. Here, the ethics becomes non-conclusive. Right? Or here, this study or the content of ethics becomes non-prescriptive. Right? There is no single solution. In fact, no solution is available to certain things, certain issues, certain types of problems in ethics. There are no solutions available. These areas are open-ended. Normative. They are highly value-based, personalized, subjective. So see, one part of the ethics, can I say, is more like factual. Another part of ethics is more value-based, simply. Things which cannot be explained. Things which do not have a logical analysis. Things which do not come to a conclusion. Fine? है एक part ethics का, बिल्कुल. So see, ये part ethics का, which is more contextual, which is more personalized, which is more subjective, you understand? That is called morality. So morality is that aspect of study of ethics, which deals with those aspects, those questions, those issues, those understandings, right, which are subjective in nature. Right? ऐसे लिख लो. Don't talk about just fact. Talk about using fact to arrive at a knowledge. Facts तो कुछ भी हो सकते हैं. Religion के facts हैं. उससे क्या एक universal knowledge बन सकता है? नहीं बन सकता. उससे उस religion के लिए, right? For that or using that for that particular context, we can develop a knowledge, right? Okay, Pooja, how can we choose what best in that current situation? Yes, that is what the entire struggle of ethics, study of ethics is. So if you have ethics, right, an area of study which is so many things, right, in this one portion, let's say major portion, I'm not just saying one portion, a major portion of the study of ethics deals with morality. Why? Because these are something called moral issues. What are moral issues? Those issues which may have subjective aspects, those issues which are subjective, value based, personalized in the domain of study of ethics. So, study of ethics tries to scientifically, rationally develop knowledge regarding human intention, action, and consequence. But in that part, there are various aspects of human behavior, human action, which cannot be studied scientifically, or which may have certain parameters which may be personalized according to situation, according to context, according to other parameters, which may be subjective to individuals. You understand? That is called morality. So, morality is very much part of the ethics. When people say why to distinguish, there is obviously illogical thing to distinguish them. No need to distinguish. The only thing is to understand how these two levels are different. So the aim of this entire ethics is what? To scientifically develop knowledge regarding whatever we have talked about. Right? A part of this knowledge is non-scientific. A part of this knowledge is subjective. A part of this knowledge remains debatable. Right? That is morality. So the word morality refers to what? What does it refer to? If you go to the root word ethics, ethikos means habit, custom, usage, right? Good habits, good customs, good. Morality, more or less the same thing. What does it mean? Let me simplify you. Let's say existence of God. Can it be proved? You try to understand this example is very important to understand everything else here. Existence of God, can you prove it? Can you disapprove it? Then what is it? It is neither scientific nor non-scientific, neither rational nor irrational. What is it then? Okay, these are called gray areas. Fine. So absolutely you cannot say God exists, but you absolutely also you cannot say that it does not exist. So what does it mean? Can this be proved? No, it's not perception. You see things which are happening, which cannot be attributed, which cannot be scientifically understood. That is death. If you try to define death as per the biological phenomena or medical physiology, then at least people should live for 100 years. The death of young people is not acceptable. Right? एक बेसिक लॉजिक तो यही बोलता है भाई कि डेथ इज एसोसिएटेड विथ एज. How can we have 14-year-old dying of heart attack?
But it can be explained through.
No, that's why. So take the basic logic. If death is a consequence of age, you understand? Most fundamental thing. Leave that you are eating momos every day under Karol Bagh metro station. Right? Now that may obviously increase the rate of death. Or you're eating that paneer which is artificially made, right? Or you're eating the chicken which is injection based. So that is different aspect. What I'm saying in simple way, we are talking about this existence. Let's keep the center here. So if we are born, then definitely we'll die. That's truth. Right? And if we are born, instantly we are not going to die, no? That is also illogical. People may die, that's different. But when we are born, so there is some established cycle. Who did this cycle? Who created this cycle? We did not do it. नहीं? हमने तो नहीं बनाया ना? See? We may have to an extent role here only. Right? Or to an extent role here only. Right? but beyond that we don't have any control. तो हमारा रोल यहाँ पे है, इसमें भी नहीं है, इसमें भी नहीं है. Why? You were not born, you were not asked, and you don't want to die, but you will die. No one will ask you. So logically, right, how do you explain this phenomena in terms of science? You say all things that are born will die, but how did they come into existence? Who will explain this? You're only explaining your birth. That's only a biological, physiological explanation. But imagine about the first person who came. How did he come? When there was no person before him. There would be a time, no, when there was no person before the person. Then how were you born? See? अब इसका कोई एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं. अब क्रिश्चियनिटी या बाइबल या बहुत सारे ऐसे रिलीजन्स हैं जो बिलीव करते हैं कि भाई भगवान ने बोला लेट देयर बी लाइट, लाइट हो गया. That means the science can explain anything which is after the existence was created. The science does not have an explanation for how the existence came into being. You understand? So Einstein can tell universe is expanding, but how universe was created, Einstein cannot tell it. He can say Big Bang, right? How did that Big Bang happen? What were the materials? And how these materials came into existence? तो जब यूनिवर्स नहीं था और यूनिवर्स आया एग्जिस्टेंस में, तो उसके पहले क्या था? अब see, these are the questions which cannot be answered scientifically. अब ये सारे क्वेश्चंस को कैसे हैं? They are questions of metaphysics, beyond physicality. So your science or factual science, objective science can only explain what? The physical world. Now comes the next question. If the existence of God cannot be accepted on the basis of science, but cannot be rejected also on the basis of science, so what do? It becomes a matter of personal belief. Now see, moral aspect comes into it. क्योंकि हम उसको ethically define ही नहीं कर सकते, हम उसको scientifically, rationally, logically बता ही नहीं सकते, तो हम क्या करेंगे? We'll accept it, yes, it is correct, but what is the explanation? It's a matter of personal belief. Subjective हो गया. See, can you eat veg, non-veg? Right? Okay, vegetarian diet leads to this. If you eat a lot of vegetarian diet, that also leads to a lot of deficiency. If you eat a lot of non-vegetarian diet, that also leads to a lot of other consequences, right? What is to be chosen? It is a matter of choice. Now, there cannot be a scientific conclusion to that, you understand? So, if there was a scientific universal conclusion, वो ये हो गया. But इसी का जो part है, जिसका कोई scientific universal conclusion नहीं है, उसको हमने क्या बोला? Morality. That's why we keep saying morality is personal, morality is subjective, morality is not technically empirical in nature. You understand why? This is the reason. But morality है क्या? उस subject का वो part which is not scientifically or empirically verifiable, but it generally is based on personal experiences and choices.
So ethics
Is a broader sphere, yes. Ethics is the universal science. Morality provides us with the understanding of contextual nature of ethics. You understand? So ethics as an area of study tends to be universal. But a part of that which does not tend to be universal, which is more contextual and personal and subjective, that is called morality.
So, sir, in overall context, we say morality is subjective.
Yes.
And not matter.
Is that part of ethics which is subjective? First, that is very important. Morality is not separate from ethics.
But to achieve it, we can go to the scientific means.
Now, why not? See, if we can explain it, if we can analyze it, we have the tools. If we ever come to an absolute conclusion, but we can never come to an absolute conclusion. See, it's the same thing like we have a meal. Ethics is like the best meal that one can have in a day. होलसम मील, ठीक है. बट उस मील में क्या ऐसा कुछ भी हो सकता है या ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता जिससे कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो जाए ह्यूमन बॉडी को? ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता ना. There must be something in that meal which, if individually taken, would be harmful for the human body, or if taken without proportion, would be harmful for the. That means even if you are taking a wholesome meal, it might have certain aspects which might be harmful. Fine. सेम लॉजिक यही है. एक साइंटिफिक स्टडी, एक डिजायर्ड एम्पेरिकल स्टडी, जिसका स्टिल एक मेजर पार्ट क्या है, जो साइंटिफिक नहीं है, या साइंटिफिक है भी लेकिन एब्सोल्युटली एम्पेरिकली रैशनल नहीं. So it is not something wrong. It is not a drawback. It is only trying to demarcate कि भाई a part of the content of this study is more subjective in nature. Another part of this study is empirical. So what ethics wants to do as an area of study? It wants to include both these kind of stuff. See? So morality comes as a content which is more personal. Personal does not mean only individual. It can be a group, community, society, religion, anything. But because it is not a recommendation for the universal, because it does not come with the conclusions which can be applied anywhere, right? We call that part as more moral. The other part, which is more scientific and universally applicable, we call that part as ethical. Though morality is part of ethics only. Because ultimate purpose क्या है इनका? To find out what is good, what is desirable, and apply it to the human lives. Are you getting? Now see. So क्या ethics ये सब है? Yes. What? It is not. Religion. Is religion ethics? No. Ethics may include the study of religion, right? But religion is not equal to being ethical. But क्या religion morality से deal कर सकता है? हाँ, कर सकता है. Because it is subjective in nature. See? So is religion ethics? No. Not equivalent to. But can religion be associated or can be studied as part of morality? Yes, it can be. Can, right? Law is ethics? No. Entire law cannot be ethics. Law can be again part of ethics. See, law, can it also deal with morality? Yes, it can. जैसे हमने use किया personal law. When we say constitutional philosophy, when we say values, अब AFSPA क्या एक यूनिवर्सल साइंटिफिक लॉ है क्या? नहीं. रूल ऑफ लॉ एक क्राइटेरिया हो सकता है यूनिवर्सल. फाइन. बट माई पर्पज और माई ऑब्जेक्टिव टू यूज द लॉ may be very contextual in nature. That's why I'm saying law is not denying ethics. Try to understand, right? But law is only a part of the ethics. Is being ethical means being legal? No. Is being ethical means being religious? No. That is the idea. Are you understanding? Right. Yes. Is convention ethics? No. Fine. Conventions deal हो सकता है morality में, but ethics is no. Or it is not the entire ethics. It is just one part of the ethics. Right? Then, what else? Are entire human values ethics? नहीं. क्यों? Human values भी तो subjective होती हैं. So human value भी morality का part ज्यादा हो सकता है ethics का. So now we come to the idea कि what is ethics now? So ethics is a domain of study. It is an academic subject whose primary ambition is to understand the human nature and its action and evaluate them for good or bad. even though the purpose of evaluation is not to arrive at absolute conclusion. That is not the ambition. The ambition is to understand what possible behaviors, what possible actions human beings can take, and can we classify them into something desirable or undesirable. When we are classifying them as desirable or undesirable, right, we are trying to find out the basis why we are calling something desirable and why we are calling something undesirable. So what comes in this analysis? Morality. Right? So when we are classifying something desirable, morality. Religious morality बोलती है ये desirable है, ये desirable नहीं है. Political morality बोलती है desirable है, desirable नहीं है. You understand? Though, yes, there are some universal aspects. So ethics, what it does? It tries to understand how this subjective and objective relationship exists in this world. It is mainly studying the world of human beings, not of animals, not of plants. Even though, right, it is very obvious that we don't want to understand. It does not mean that it cannot constitute the aspect of study, right? But we don't want to understand the human existence with respect to these factors. Because we believe the human existence somewhere is a product of the free will of the human beings. This is a very important aspect. For a lion, there is free will. He can explore the jungle, right? But he does not have the intellect. He may be intelligent, but he does not have an intellect. He does not have a thinking brain. He does not have an evaluative brain. You understand? He is driven by instinct. That is why we start evaluating human beings, because we believe that we are not merely driven by instinct. We are not merely driven by survival. We have moved from the nomadic phase now. So whatever we do, whatever we act, maybe not always, right? But majority of the times, that is a conscious choice. So if we are making a conscious choice, what would have been the basic idea behind it, and how it has resulted in the consequence or impact for the society. So see, the entire study of ethics somewhere assumes that people have freedom to make choices. And so when they are making the choices, we need to understand why did they make this choice preferable over something else. If we understand this, we can also give them a direction, a prescription that you can make better choices. The better choices will lead to better consequences and probably a better life or the ambition of good life. That means simple thing, right? Because human beings can make a big difference, you understand, to this nature, to this existence. If a lion eats 10 herons, doesn't make much difference to the nature, right? But if a human being cuts the entire green cover of an entire planet, of an entire continent, it will have a big consequence. That is why human actions have a lot of consequences, not only for the society it has created, but for the very nature on which it is surviving. So an animal action may not have that consequence on nature and environment. Human actions will have. Others are obviously the question of social and personal choices. It doesn't matter much. So a man marries 4 women or a woman marries 4 men, it doesn't matter. In the broader scheme of things, it doesn't have any value. That is why these are more or less questions contextually relative to the particular culture and tradition. It doesn't have impact on the larger scheme of things of the environment, nature, and our evolution. That's logical. So see, though politics shapes everything, right? Governance shapes everything. That is why we use them as a more focused approach, focused area of study in ethics. Because governance, administration, politics, right, and even social changes can bring a big impact, right, across the entire world. If one nation chooses to be nuclear, it has a big impact on the survival of everyone. If certain countries want to monopolize power within themselves, it will have impact on the entire humanity. That is why ethics in governance, political ethics, ethics of power, ethics of authority is necessary to be understood, because that is the fundamental entity that changes whatever we want, whatever we desire, whatever we are as of now. It changes everything. The moment we chose to become democratic from colonial system, things changed. The entire subcontinent changed. तो पॉलिटिकल पावर, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव डिसीजन, वो एक इतना बड़ा इम्पैक्ट है दैट इट कैन ट्रांसफॉर्म द सोसाइटीज ड्रास्टिकली. That is why we don't want the. That's why we talk about ethics of international relation, ethics in governance, right? Ethics in or political ethics, policy making, public policy, right? All these areas are studied now, or they have come slowly and slowly under the domain of ethical study, merely to focus on how good decisions can humans or institutions make.
So can we say collective morality is
Collective moralities. But then see, there is nothing like one single homogeneous collective morality. You understand? Now, the word collective can be used in reference to many things.
like international?
You can use the word universal. Why collective? Collective तो nation हो सकता है, region हो सकता है, local हो सकता है, community हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. So you can say, search for the universal, yes, morality. That is an ambition of ethics, yes. So why to dissociate them in that way? There is more of difference of degree. यूनिवर्सल सेट एंड सबसेट, यही डिफरेंस है बस. देखो मोरालिटी भी अल्टीमेटली एथिक्स ही है, समझ लो. तो ऑल मोरालिटी इज एथिक्स, बट ऑल एथिक्स इज नॉट मोरालिटी. दैट इज हाउ यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. हैव यू अंडरस्टूड दिस मच? फाइन. सो विल स्टार्ट टुमारो, विल डू दैट पार्ट. विल स्टार्ट विद सिलेबस की बाय डिस्कशन. सिलेबस क्या है, हाउ डू यू इंटरप्रेट द सिलेबस, हाउ डू यू इन्फर द वेरियस एस्पेक्ट्स. फाइन. You kindly keep this in mind now, because this will be used again and again as a concept जहां भी हमें यूज करना है. डाउट नहीं है? ठीक. See you then tomorrow. We'll start with the syllabus analysis and the nature of questions that are asked.